Hi guys, in this video we'll be talking about equal, opposite and unit vectors. As we now understand what are vectors, so if we draw vector AB, we know this is how vector AB looks like. And let's say we have another vector CD and we are given vector AB is equal to vector CD. That means they would have exact same direction and exact same magnitude. So when the two vectors have same magnitude and direction, they are called equal vectors. Equal vectors are also called parallel vectors. Now let's talk about opposite vectors. Let's say we have a vector AB and we have to draw a vector opposite to it. So the opposite vector is going to be exact same magnitude but the opposite direction. That means in this case vector BA is opposite to vector AB. So opposite vectors are two vectors that have same magnitude and opposite direction. Now let's understand what are unit vectors. We know if we want to represent a vector with a coordinate on x and y axes, let's say we mention it like 3, 5. So this is the x value, this is the y value. Now unit vectors are the vectors that have magnitude equal to 1 and their direction is on the respective axes. For example, the unit vector of x-axis is I. This I with small cap is the representation of the unit vector. The magnitude is on x-axis is 1, y-axis is 0. Because this vector only lies on one axis and that is the x-axis. Unit vector of y-axis is represented with j cap. In this case, x value is 0, y value is 1. So if I want to represent vector with coordinates 3, 5 using unit vectors, all I have to do is, because AB vector has 3 as a magnitude on the x-axis, so we would just multiply this with the unit vector I, plus 5 is the magnitude on the y-axis for AB. So we would just multiply that with the unit vector j. So this is another way of representing a vector called representation using unit vectors. Let's take another example in 3 space now. The question wants you to write down vector AB with coordinates -1, 3, 5 using unit vectors. How would this be represented is vector AB can be written as -1i plus 3j. Now your z-axis is represented with k cap. So in this case, the representation would be 0, 0, 1. Therefore, we multiply 5 with k cap. So x-axis in 3 spaces I represented as 1, 0, 0. Y-axis is represented as j written as 0, 1, 0. And z-axis is represented as k written as 0, 0, 1. So this is how we represent a vector using unit vectors in 3 space.